There's nothing quite like completing a hard challenge in a video game. Sometimes games will have extra things you can do, and a good chunk of these things can either be really time-consuming or difficult. And sometimes, that can give you some interesting stories to tell once you've completed them. A video talking about the most epic stuff I've ever done in video games always sounded like a pretty hollow concept. But thinking about it more, I really like hearing about personal experiences with games and other media. I saw a lot of people talking about things that scared them when they were little, and I realized this could potentially be a chill video like those ones. Maybe not as interesting, but hey, when else will I get to tell these stories? I don't really know where to start on this glorified bragging fest. Maybe with some simple 100% stuff. Back in 2017, I played a lot of games I really liked and went out of my way to fully complete. And funnily enough, most of them were 3D platformers. Specifically, Yooka-Laylee, Psychonauts, and Mario Odyssey. Yuka wasn't really a big deal. The hardest things to find in that game are the quills and pirate treasures. For those of you who haven't played the game, the quills are like a form of currency you use to buy new abilities. They start off easy to find at first, however you'll more than likely be missing quite a few when trying to scourge the level for the rest of them. They're hidden in some strange areas at times. But then, there are the There are the treasures. They serve no purpose as far as I'm aware, but you gotta get them to declare that you have 100%. They're put in incredibly hard to reach or hard to find areas. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if some people who played this game didn't know that these even existed. Though there are a couple that aren't too hard to find. Hunting for the first few took a little while, but the second I entered Capital Casino, something didn't feel right. As soon as I entered the level, my Luggle instincts went off, and then I turned around, and I realized it was above you the whole time! Mario Odyssey and Psychonauts shared a similar challenge. Both of these games have a collectible that there are a ton of. For Odyssey, it's the moons, and Psychonauts, it's the figments. Odyssey was definitely easier, but probably took me a little bit longer. I guess that gives me the right to make a 2-hour video essay on why Mario Odyssey is flawed because there's so many moons in the game. Alright. But the figments and Psychonauts are so much harder. As you can see, these things are flat and some of them awkwardly move around. Not only that, but there are so many of them. This is like what would happen if somebody got a bunch of boxes of Cheez-Its and then just threw all of them across a baseball field and told you to go pick them all up. I got pretty desperate near the end of the search, so I decided to look up a guide. And what I'm about to say next might blow your mind, but there was actually a guide detailing the position of each individual figment. Holy crap. Okay, instead of 100% completion, how about we talk about a self-imposed challenge? One of my favorites is Pokemon Nuzlocke. For those of you who don't know how Nuzlocke work, I'll explain the rules. 1, you can only catch one Pokemon per area, and it has to be the first one you see. 2, if a Pokemon faints, then it is considered dead and you're not allowed to use it anymore. I love these because you end up catching a lot of Pokemon and getting attached to them, and then they die and you're never allowed to use them ever again. It's absolutely heart-wrenching, and everyone should try it. Anyway, I did one of these with Pokemon Sapphire back in 2018 or 2019, I think. There are countless fun stories to tell of that playthrough, but that could easily become its own video. I actually ended up completing it by the skin of my teeth, with only 2 of my Pokemon from my team surviving. Now, I wouldn't release the Pokemon that fainted. I prefer putting them in a PC box dedicated to dead boyos so I can keep track of all of them. Of course, I'm not allowed to use them or transfer them, and they're going to be deleted once the save file gets erased. It's part of the rules. Bro, Rump my boy, I have a really funny story to tell of him. He was my first Pokemon to die. What happened was I was grinding before the first gym, and he got poisoned. And you see, poison is a lot scarier in a Nuzlocke. Ah crap, my Pokemon got poisoned. I guess I need to go to the Pokemon Center. Oh no! So I was desperately rushing towards the Pokemon Center, and before I got there, he died. Oh, he's dead. Speaking of hard mode playthroughs, Have any of you tried Pain Mode in Lisa? I really only think that the first part of the game is hard. As soon as you get past the stupid Russian roulette minigame, everything else isn't too difficult. So, why not ramp up the difficulty a little bit with Pain Mode? At first, you may think that Pain Mode just makes the enemies harder. Well, no, that's stupid. The most notable thing about Pain Mode is how save points are changed. Normally, you can save as many times as you want. Here, however, you can only use each save point once. That's probably the hardest part about this mode. You really have to conserve your saves because you only have like a grand total of 30 throughout this 10-hour game. On top of that, a few extra enemies are added in some places. This was a pretty good challenge, and I really had to think more about conservation, but it still wasn't too difficult, plus I would rather play the normal difficulty. You may be wondering if there's actually any point to doing this apart from a Steam achievement and, of course, epic bragging rights! But if you're wondering, you do get an extra cutscene after finishing the game. I spoiled it for myself because I didn't think I'd ever play Pain Mode. Yeah, big mistake. But I did get to find something out, even if it's extremely minor. Basically, on Bucket's page on the wiki, it says that in the final part of the game, when you're about to fight your party members, that if you had Buckets in your party and you're playing on Pain Mode, he'll say, "The girl is ours." This sounds like a big secret because of how oddly specific it is. I did the side quest to get Buckets on my team. You have to beat every competitor at the Russian roulette minigame. And trust me, it's already pretty hard on normal mode, but on Pain Mode it's even more difficult because you have limited save points to save scum with. I used them for the rest of the playthrough. I got to the end, and I eagerly awaited the quote. I even recorded it, and when the time came, I found out that NOTHING! Absolutely nothing! So, those are some of my epic gamer accomplishments. Of course, there are plenty of other ones, but these were the most interesting. I could mention Enter Agent 3 or completing the Pokédex in Pokemon Moon, but there aren't any stories to tell there. This was mostly made just to tell you about some of my fun experiences that I would never get to talk about otherwise. If I can think of some more stories to tell, then I'll probably make some follow-ups to this video. Anyway, I'm Luggle, a Luggician, and yeah, I guess I'm pretty cool.